Well, g'day again. This is your favourite flat earther here, bringing you the news. Because as you can see, I live in reality. I don't live in a model. I live in something where a camera uses real-time evidence to show. Oh fuck! Can't show that. Apparently, I'm told not to let my neighbour's work vehicle get in the way. Wink, wink. So, what we're seeing here is what the globe earthers are claiming is underlit clouds by the sun, which is only possible because we live on a spinning ball hurtling through outer space at millions and millions of miles an hour. And, okay, so they will say we're only hurtling on our axis at 1,040 miles per hour, which give or take our latitude, we will grant them. It's only like the speed of sound, 700 miles an hour. So therefore, this special moment, look how special it is. The sun is lighting up the underneath of clouds. Now this can only happen because we live on a spinning space ball in outer space, according to the globetards. Now, you've heard me speaking, therefore you can hear the speed of sound, right? You've heard the speed of sound because you can hear me speaking. Coopers, by the way, sponsor this video without even knowing it. Hang on. Let me look to the east. The east is far more truthful than the west, apparently. The camera adjusting for best light conditions is... Oh, it might. I can't get up high enough. I need to do a little jump like I do in my dreams when I'm bloody... I can just up and fly. Up and look at that. Look. That's just spectacular. That is spectacular. That is the sun far to the west behind us, lighting up the underneath of those clouds. Now, if you believe that, as most globetards do, because that's what globetards are indoctrinated to believe, it's still lighting it. Still. Look. It's getting more and more magnificent. Well, the Earth is going that direction 1,000 miles an hour. But don't let that faze you, because the globers they just love to bring up scale. I mean, those clouds are full of scales. Woo, still underlit. While the planet is hurtling away towards the east. Just on its axis at 1,040 miles per hour. Now, no, I'm not near the equator, which is why I'll grant you we're only going 800 miles per hour. That's still faster than the speed of motherfucking sound. But the speed of light here, is just gently wafting away as the planet is also going around the sun at 666,000 miles per hour. You know, this is the one thing that really really fascinates me is that a globetard can find all sorts of evidence to say that we are spinning at 1,000 miles per hour on the axis, as evidenced by the star trails. But the star trails, we're just looking at underlit clouds here in the twilight. But the star trails show zero evidence of the Earth moving at least 65 times faster around the sun. Now, if I'm running a 100-yard dash, or 100-metre, because I'm Australian, if I'm running a 100-metre dash, and I can do that in, okay, I'm not a 14-seconder, takes me about, give or take, 17, 18 seconds. Who's counting? We're not counting. But if that track is hurtling around the center point 65 times faster, then I am hurtling down that track. I think I'd notice it. I think I would, I'm not fucking, Usain Bolt's love child from Einstein or nothing, but I think I would notice that if one speed was 65 times faster than the one I'm going, then I'd be struggling to keep up. I'm glad I got out here when I did, because, geez, look at that. The clouds are no longer underlit. But this is the thing that I will present to the globetard. You can still see shades of pink. Now, while this globe is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour towards the westerly direction, actually away from the westerly direction, because they are saying that the sun is peeking through this tiny little gap to underlight the side of these clouds. Now, as most of us will know, if we go down to the ocean, where we're standing at a flat and level surface, our horizontal line of vision around us, especially if we were out at sea and only standing on a raft floating at sea level, we would only see about a 3-mile radius around us, which gives us a 6-mile diameter. Have to think about me basic geometries for a second. There is still shades of pink in those clouds. So I've got a 6-mile diameter, except those trees there, right? They're not 6 miles away. They're not even 60 meters away. When we see our horizon, we're generally not seeing even so much as 3 miles. I'm seeing like 40, 50 meters away, maximum. We've got, I'm in a 2-acre paddock. That means that the corner over there to the corner over there, it's not even 500 meters. It's 386 meters by my estimation, which I'm pretty certain is completely wrong. But, at least I made an estimate, which is more than most people can. So when a globe tard is telling you that the sun is lighting the underneath of those clouds, let's put this into some amount of perspective or scale, shall we? They think and acknowledge and believe that the sun is 93 million miles away. Now, I have no idea why they believe that, how they think that. They're just told that, and so, heliocentric sun worship. Reminds me of a song. Heliocentric sun worship, head full of indoctrination. Gravity's the glue that holds us down, upside hallucination. When you're speeding faster than the speed of sound, it's spinning ball earth magic. Here in reality, look at this. Okay. What did we say? 1,000 miles per hour. So the sun is no longer lighting the underneath of those clouds, but it's still lighting the entire sky. And I'm only seeing through a 6-mile window, allegedly, from a ball of light 93 million miles away. 93 million miles away. How do they know that? Science. Scientists told us that, and so if you don't believe it, you're a science denier. Are you a science denier? How dare you not believe that sun, 63 million miles away, hang on a sec, I'm not even sure what my point is, because it's still friggin' illuminating the sky and everything above me, even though the ball beneath me is spinning over 1,000 miles an hour. It's the things like the sunset that the globe heads say cannot happen on a flat earth that end up being the strongest points that the flat earth has to defend itself against the insanity of being on a spinning ball in outer space. Like the minute that curvature has blocked the sun from our point of view, we should see a big frickin' shadow black out the sky immediately. And yet, that's my west there. Let's look to my east. And look. It is still lit. Why is not the shadow of the earth blacking that out instantly and rendering us into darkness? This is why I can no longer believe in a heliocentric earth when I live on a stationary plane of earth. Look at it. That is my new place, by the way. It's still a bit of a hippie camp, and I'm so fucking happy about it, because hey, over time I'm going to turn this place into a freaking home. Got my shipping container, a big tarp over it, got everything happening, because this is what I've been working towards. But that thing over there, the sun is still setting. How can the earth beneath me be spinning that away 1,000 miles an hour if it's still daylight? Now, the globe heads, they will tell you that it is due to scale. they love to reduce everything to scale. And this is probably their biggest downfall, is because when you reduce things to scale and say that if the ball is the size of a basketball and the moon is the size of a golf ball and the sun is the size of a New York City or whatever, this is how they'd like to reduce things to scale. Then they'll say, well, the Earth is only moving 0.3 of a centimetre per hour or some shit like that. And it's like, okay, well, isn't that a beautiful thing that you can reduce reality down to a scale so that you can deny what we actually see with our own eyes? Now, if the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, 1,040 around the equator, and you want to reduce that down to scale, that's fine. But the thing is, reality, this place where we live, this one, let me just have a drink to it. Reality is at full scale. Now that is a problem for the globe-tards. The globe-tards want to reduce it down to a model size scale and then say that scale is reality. Globe-tards, this scale is reality. You cannot reduce full scale into a realistic model without replicating full scale. Now, this is probably the most profound moment in Facebook comments that I ever made, because maybe it was a YouTube comment, I don't even remember, but that is what I said. If you can have your models, that's fine. It's absolutely fine. Have all the models you like. But when you try to put reality into a model, you have to model it at full scale. And the world is big enough for many, many, many false models. But what it's not big enough for is a model of itself, because you can't fit one into one unless you just look at one, which is reality. So if you want a flat earth model, step outside, have a look at it. It's freaking magnificent. It only exists at full scale. You cannot make a little desktop model. You cannot put it above your baby's crib to try and indoctrinate them into something that you were indoctrinated into, to make them grow up to believe we live on a spinning ball that goes around the sun. What you see is what you get, and reality exists at one scale. Full scale. You're a fool if you believe it could exist at any less. Got distracted by the kookaburra. No, we don't call them kookaburras, we call them kookaburras. But it just reminded me of all the kooks who keep coming onto my channel and talking about shit they don't understand. How are these clouds still underlit? Well, they're not underlit, are they? But on a globe Earth model, when the sun is 93 million miles away and the Earth is a 25,000 mile circumference ball, at that scale, if I doubt anybody can comprehend this, it even blows my mind, but at that scale, I can at least tell you that if we're spinning 1,000 miles per hour in the opposite direction from the 93 million mile away distant ball, which is still lighting up the sky, the window of opportunity for it to light the underneath of clouds would be so minuscule. It would be so minuscule, especially here, because here on the east coast of Australia, we've got the Great Dividing Range off to our west. It's pretty much why we're in darkness now. If that didn't exist, we'd probably even have an even longer twilight. And if you can see, look, even over there, there's clouds. That's to the north. Actually. Northeast. Those clouds could not be illuminated if we're on a spinning ball racing away at the speeds that they say we're racing away at towards the east, to allow the sun to have this tiny, it would be so tiny it probably wouldn't even exist, gap beneath the clouds from the ones in the west and those mountains in the west to actually shine its light onto the underneath of those clouds. It just would not be possible if you have a single iota of common sense, of scale, size, and that's really it. I think it's time I finish this beer. I'd like to thank my sponsor once again. And say, it is still not dark. Now, we are heading in towards our winter here in the outer half of the spheres, outer half of the hemisphere. And yet we still have a lingering twilight. There's just no way the heliocentric model can explain this. The only way it can be explained is by a deep understanding of a flat Earth model where the sun rotates around above us, hence why we see it overhead every day at roughly midday, above a stationary planet Earth. There's no way in the world the ground beneath me is moving 1,000 miles per hour. There is no way the planet that they say we're on is moving through space at 66,600 miles per hour, and there's absolutely no way that we are chasing that fading sun moving away from us at over 500,000 miles per hour. They say it's 514,000 miles per hour. You put those three speeds together, you'd be a fucking maniac if you actually believed a single one of them. We live on a stationary planet Earth, and I've been your host, having a beer, showing how underlit clouds are impossible if we lived on a spinning ball hurtling through a vacuum of space. See you later. Mwah.